one of your guys is obviously wearing a green jersey. What's been going on with Jamie?
Well, Jamie just, he's got a little spasm in his leg, so we're just taking it easy on him, make sure that we have him closer to the game. When we get ready to play, so we don't make sure we don't pull it and do it. But he'll be okay. He's just we're just making sure that we take it easy with him and not overwork him.
Does he have a timetable to return at all, or?
That's a question. That's a question that you have to ask our trainer. That's something that I don't know. I don't deal with the timelines and when they get back.
Coach, you're number 2 with working with Jeff Nixon.
Yeah.
How has that relationship, strengthened, and anything changed as far as offensive scheme coming into this year? How you're attacking things?
No, Jeff and I have a great relationship. He's the offensive coordinator, and I assist him in any way that he needs help, and then make sure that I oversee the tight ends. But if he ever needs any help, I'm there for him. But we have a great relationship, and I just make sure that everything that he wants gets done by everybody.
Coach, we've seen Chase Simmons make the switch to tight end. Just what was the process behind that, and how have you seen him kind of progress so far at that position?
Well, Chase is a guy. He's a big guy. So he's 6'4", 270 plus. And he's a guy that likes contact, and he's a guy that I feel that will help us from the physicality standpoint. He's a physical kid. So when we want to do some things in the run game and some short passes, I think he'll be a good athlete for that. But I'm happy and dazzled to have Chase over there with us.
Was that something that you guys went to him about, or did he come to you? How did that come about?
No, that's something that both he and Coach Fran talked about. I don't make decisions on who comes to the tight end room. Whoever walks in that door, I just coach him.
Coach, can you speak to the evolution of Dan Valari and just what he's done to be a leader in the room right now?
Well, Dan's a hard worker. Dan was our number 2 guy last year behind OG. Dan's working hard, trying to establish himself, as that guy. And in order to do that, you got to do that in the game. You got to make the plays that come to you. You got to be a consistent guy in both pass game and run game. So Dan's just working hard, trying to make that next step.
We've seen him run, we've seen him throw, we've seen him catch. What can you say about his versatility and who he is right now?
Well, he's versatile. You just said it. He can do it all. He can run, he can catch, he can block. He's just trying to learn and get comfortable with as much stuff as he can. And then, the more he can do, then the more we'll use him at. And not overload him, but make sure that he can make the routine plays that he has to make. But he's doing a great job.
Mike, how much do you think his health will factor into that? He was battling for some injuries last season.
Yeah, he battled through that shoulder last year, so he wasn't as physical as I would have liked at times. But he had a torn labrum, so he's healthy now. He's running well. He's in shape. So I'm happy with where he is right now. But we still have a long way to go before we open up against Tennessee.
How do you replace the receiving production from OG last year with this group this year? How do you replace that production?
Well, production can be placed in a lot of areas. Last year we had wideouts, we had tight ends, we had backs that could catch. But sometimes that production comes back in the run game. Sometimes you have different run action, play action passes where you get big plays. So that's the thing about our offensive staff. We have a lot of experience and a lot of different things that we can do and different knowledge that we have. So we'll get production, but we're still trying to figure out where that's going to come from.
Coach, you previously obviously worked with the receivers. When you were a receiver coach, you recruited a guy like Daryl Gill, who didn't get a lot of attention coming out of high school. What do you remember stuck out about him when you recruited him?
Well, when I recruited Daryl Gill, he could run. He had good body control, and he just needed to be coached. I'm big on present value and future value. I think present value is where they are when you see them, and then 2 years. The future value is when you see them 2 years after you coach them. And I thought that his future value and his upside was going to be great. I think Daryl Gill's doing well. I think he's going to have a good year this year.
How happy have you been with his progression, especially kind of last year breaking out towards the end of the year? But how have you seen him sort of build on that in this camp?
Well, it's like anything else. Accomplishment builds confidence, which instills belief. And it has to go in that order. In order for you to become a confident athlete, you got to go make plays. You got to accomplish things. And he started to do that. He did a little bit last year, so this is his breakout year where he can go out now and make more plays. And after last season, he'll be more confident with that.
I think he had something silly like no drops or something like that for the season. I mean, were his hands something that were, exceptional coming out of high school, or was that something he worked on?
Yeah, well, he could catch. I knew he could catch. And I knew that he could run routes. He's got good body control, and he was a 21.4 200-meter sprinter. So all that stuff comes together. You coach him, and then you get in the game, and then you make plays. You gain confidence, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, I can do this. And now all of a sudden your athletic ability can take over. So he'll be even more comfortable this year after having the success he had last year.
Both Coach Fran and Coach Nixon have said the scrimmages will be important in the quarterback decision. I would imagine you share that opinion, but what do they have to show in the scrimmages in order to make that decision final?
Well, the quarterback decision will be made by Coach Nuns and Coach Fran and Coach Nixon. That's something that I try to stay out of. There's a lot of guys making that decision. So the quarterback battle, they're battling things. I watch my guys in practice, and there's somebody watching them. So that's something that I really don't have an opinion on quarterbacks, because my job is to coach the tight ends and make sure they block every single day. So that's what I do.
Have you seen an added emphasis in things ramping up now the pads are on and, less than 4 weeks away, so to say?
Yeah, well, I mean, we come out here, we work hard, we practice hard, and we're a physical football team. We're trying to establish that physicality every single day. So come watch our practices. We're ramped up all the time. So that's the good thing about what we're doing right now. Every practice we're playing at a high tempo. So we're ready for the game when it shows up.
Being here for a couple of years, what benefits are you seeing from the new Lally complex to the team and the program?
Well, I mean, it's a great building. We're fortunate to have it. It's bigger than the old building because I was in that one. But it's they did a great job with it. We appreciate it every single day. But it's a good place to go to work every single day.
It looks like Jamie's up in that 225-pound range. I know putting on weight or something you said you want to see from him in the spring. What's the ideal goal for him to be able to be the guy you want Jamie Turner to be?
Well, right now he's starting to gain a little more weight, but Coach Fran has all those guys on weight programs, and there's certain weights that he has those guys that he wants to see those guys achieve or lose, and that's something he works on every single day with those individual guys. But that's not my area, so I don't deal with weights. Coach Fran's job is to make sure they are where they are and they have their own deal and benefit with that.
Where's David Clement in his progression as a player right now, Coach?
I think he's progressing great. I love David. David works hard. He's a physical player, and he's progressing great. So I'm happy to have him.
Take the last two for Coach Johnson, if anybody's got them.
Generally speaking, what would you say are the qualities and traits in someone's character that you're looking for in a starting tight end?
Well, first of all, I want them to be physical. Second thing, I want them to be tough. I want them to have a good football IQ where I can help you with that. But I want them to have a good sense of urgency. I want them to be fundamentally and technically sound in all the fundamental techniques that we have to do with that position. And then I want them to be accountable to the offense and what we're trying to do as a group.
Have you seen anything change from last year to this year? You're coming off a 10-3 season. Anything with your mentality or attitude with the players coming into this year?
We last year is over. We live one day at a time. So we come out, we try to win today, and then we'll go coach that up. We'll go back, watch film, we'll study that, and we'll come back out tomorrow and try to win tomorrow. And that's where we're at. We're not trying to look past that or go back in the past and look at that. So, we did a great job today. I'm gonna go take a shower and go watch the tape, and then we'll go from there.
All right, thanks, Coach.
How's Mike